Hello everyone and welcome to a new ATFX video. My name is Gonzalo Cañete. If you are subscribed to this channel, you probably have seen already our previous reports. We're doing videos, just give to you the last updates, technical analysis and a quick review on global markets and also on certain stocks. Today, in this video, our main goal is to explain to you what's the expectations we got in the new results of NVIDIA. So let's go to the main point. First of all, remember the disclaimer. We are not here to tell you what to do with your money. This is not an advice of any kind. It's simply a video providing information, quick and fresh information about the company. But at the end of the day, it is your choice. And if you are thinking about invest in any financial assets, our advice in any case will be that you should consult with your financial advisor first. Saying that, let's go to the last update. Let me share the screen with you so you can see all in detail. Mainly, last update, the expectations of NVIDIA fiscal Q4 earnings with a project rise in earnings per share of 546% to $4.20 and an anticipated revenue of 20.5 billions that I also summarize. You got here. The EPS per share is 4.63 and the billions expected 20.54 billions for 21st of February 2024, which is the next publication. As you can see, also is an improvement regarding the previous results published on 21st of November. By the way, I was also here giving to you an update and a quick review, not only on numbers, not only on fundamental side, but also in technical analysis. By the end of this report, you're gonna see the charts and our projections on the price. But we published also this review a few months ago for the previous earnings published by the company, and it was actually in line with our expectations. You can take a look to the oldest video and see what was the projection, what was our comments, and what happens then. Interesting to mention, Morningstar fair value estimates an NVIDIA at $480, which is below the current price. We're gonna take a look later to the charts and you will see the price, but keep in mind that Morningstar is estimating the value of this company in $480 per share, implying that the stock is overvalued comparing to this estimation. NVIDIA's strong position in the market. Why is that? Advanced chips that facilitate parallel computing and its exposure to major future growth trends has AI, autonomous driving and virtual reality. I mentioned this on our previous report. If you take a look on the previous videos we did, I was just mentioned the story of the company, main threats the company is facing for the future, and also what's the advance of this company over the other competitors. As you can see here, there is the history of the company I was sharing with you, founded in 1993. It was focused on 3D video edition. It was generating the GeForce 256 GPU in 1999, which was a game changer on the industry. Over the years, NVIDIA has continued to innovate and expand its product offerings, becoming a dominant supplier of artificial intelligence hardware and software. And the company's founder believed that for computer graphics to advance, a dedicated GPU will be needed, and NVIDIA has since then become leading force in graphics processing and AI. We also mentioned the financial results for the previous results. We also mentioned the current threats, which it was more or less related with the geopolitical risk, which is more or less related also with the situation, geopolitical tensions between the United States and China. In that case, a few months ago, I was mentioned to you as an example, the rising tensions on trade, which is the sanctions applied from United States to certain companies in Europe, avoid them to export certain technology to China. We also mentioned the trade war, the situation of Huawei a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, actually, when it was one of the most promising companies in the 5G and telecommunication industry. It was completely banished from the United States and later from different countries in Europe. So, but let me give you in details a quick view of this. Trade tensions. NVIDIA business is heavily related on China, which accounts for a significant portion of its revenues. The ongoing trade tensions between United States and China could negatively impact NVIDIA sales and profitability. Disruption in the supply chains. NVIDIA relies on a complex supply chain, which includes several third-party manufacturers and suppliers. Any disruption in the supply chain, such as shortage of components and manufacturing issue, could impact NVIDIA's ability to deliver products to its customers. In other words, if the things are not going well between China and United States, the inputs that this company needs to deliver the final product to the customers could get interrupted. Rapidly technology changes, the technology industry is constantly evolving, and NVIDIA needs to stay ahead of the curve to remain competitive. If the companies fail to innovate and keep up with emerging technologies, it could lose its competitive advance. And again, in other words, this is something we mentioned in our previous report, and today I'm going to mention at least twice. In the section of the charts, I'm going to just remind you this, and we're also going to take a look now in fundamentals and financial reports of the company, which, by the way, are really strong. You will see now that in terms of solvency, the company is doing super well. It's in a low risk, low leverage, which cannot say by many other companies in Wall Street. But saying that, one of the things we have mentioned is tech companies usually got a short life. It means like they rise strongly and they fall. One of the most common comparison I found related with NVIDIA and another similar companies, it was actually a comparison that some analysts are doing between NVIDIA and Cisco. Cisco system, it was rising massively, was so good, so a golden star in the sky, and it falls so quickly. It collapsed after a while, but it was the top in their business. So that's why I want to share with you that comparison too. Let me just continue. Top competitors. Let's take a look also to the top competitors that we also mentioned in the previous reports. The competitor in the advanced AI chipset field is poised to intensify from a large number of strong players with vast resources. The strong players means like mainly massive, biggest companies in tech industry are competing with NVIDIA. Intense competition in the GPU market. AMD, NVIDIA main competitor, has been gaining market share in the GPU market, positioning a threat to NVIDIA dominance. So the main threat for NVIDIA in terms of competitors is AMD, unless in regardless with chips for 3D and graphic processing. AMD Advanced Micro Devices produce GPUs, CPUs and other semiconductor products and is a major competitor of NVIDIA in the GPU market. Intel, on the other hand, Intel is leading producer of CPUs and is also a significant player in the AI and autonomous vehicle market, where NVIDIA is expanding its presence. As you remember, because we also mentioned in this space, in these market sections, we were talking about Tesla. And Intel was one of the main companies that it was teaching, helping Tesla to develop the autonomous self-driving system, and therefore it's one of the threats or competitors in this sense for NVIDIA. Google is a major player in the AI market, and its tensor processing units, TPU, pose a threat to NVIDIA's dominance in the AI computing market. So Google is also another competitor and main threat from AI. So as you can see, different companies for different reasons are the main competitors of NVIDIA. In terms of microchips of semiconductors is AMD. In terms of AI is Google and Intel. What else we can mention? The projects they got it, the new technology they were developing. Let me share the screen again with you. Ampere is NVIDIA next generation CPU architecture. It's supposed to improve the performance and therefore is a new step on technology optimizing the way, the speed of these microchips processing the information. ARM, NVIDIA is expanding its presence in ARM ecosystem, which is a widely used architecture for CPUs and other processors. We also got autonomous vehicles. NVIDIA is leading player in the autonomous vehicles market, and its driving platforms is used by several major automakers and tier 1 suppliers, as again Tesla, for example. Autonomous driving technology. Omniverse. Omniverse is NVIDIA new platform for AI and computing, which is designed to enable real-time collaboration and simulation across multiple industries, including architecture, engineering, construction, and media. It's basically a kind of virtual platform for projects and share their projection, studies, numbers, and so on. How they call milestones of these projects. Put the different teams, different sectors all together in same projects. Conclusions is the same that we used before. Taking consideration that after the conclusions, we're gonna go to read few comments. For example, this one by Christopher Robb on Seeking Alpha. It was very interesting regarding the risk or what could go wrong with this company. Also, conclusions based on these, where we can also find that is not that bad in terms of financials. If we check the numbers, are really good. The comparison from Cisco and also the low leverage this company got compared with other companies. And of course, we're gonna take a look to the charts and see the prices. Now, let's go to the conclusions and financial report. Although NVIDIA has consistently maintained its position as GPU market leader, it's important to note that the corporate life cycle of technology companies is often shorter compared to other industries. Life cycle of technology companies is often shorter compared to other industries. Keep that in mind. Why? Because it's gonna be super important by the time we're gonna check the Cisco case. All right. NVIDIA has been able to reinforce its competitive edge through continuous investment in the business. However, the current valuation implies that NVIDIA will maintain its domain market position for the foreseeable future, which blah 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 blah. We mentioned this in our previous report. Now let's go what Christopher Robb mentioned in Seeking Alpha. Poking holes in the NVIDIA VR case. The Q4 pre-earnings report. This was published like a few days ago. And this is the most interesting thing I found on the article. Overvaluate an impending geopolitical disaster, a mistake in Fed policies. This is what could go wrong. Not only overvaluated in terms of the company, as we see, Morningstar is valuating the company for $80, and the company right now is quoting above those levels. So that's one of the things that we should keep in mind, that actually the current price of the stock, even considering the drop it has been done a few days, still the price is above the Morningstar valuation. So overvaluation, impending geopolitical disaster. It means relations between United States and China, which has been mentioned before. Also, mistake in Fed policy. What kind of mistake, Gonzalo? Well, if you take a look for the news the last 2 months, all financial reports are talking about one kind of poker card on the table, which is the Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. And the last week we got actually an inflation rate above the expectations, which makes the mainly market analysts and fund managers believe that maybe the interest cuts is not coming as fast as we expect, and therefore could get delayed, and then the interest rate cuts will come later than expected. Even they were talking initially about 4 interest rate cuts of 25 basic points during 2024, and right now some analysts are talking about 2 potential, so it means half of that this year. 2 cuts of interest rates by half of the after June or July, which is really disappointing. Those ones who believe the market will be rising to the interest rate cut. Anyways, even the amount of debt held by the US government, that's another option, but it could be many different things. Third World War, tensions between Russia and NATO, blah 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 blah. Any kind of black swan could twist the market, okay? One of the still very popular terms from market fundamentalists is, and self-describes intrinsic value-oriented investors, and is that artificial intelligence is a gigantic bubble that will burst. This is another topic that many people are mentioning. Artificial intelligence is a bubble. I don't think so. I personally believe that in artificial intelligence, the next evolution of the internet is actually the next step of, for example, those searching engines like Google. In this case, AI, ChatGPT, what I do is just collect information and develop rational conclusions and answers based on that information. Well, another conclusions that we got here, let me set the screen. When one considers what has drove the stock higher, NVIDIA advance is simply rush powered by increase of earnings and revenue. It's consistently exceed extremely high standards. Compared to most peers, NVIDIA receive a considerable better return on investment capital. About 30 cents of FCF are generated for every dollar invested in NVIDIA, so it's generating really good returns. The company's finance are in perfect order. We're gonna take a look on that in details. Its chance of going bankrupt are fewer than 1%. To put things in perspective, AMD has an 80 chance of going to bankruptcy. Very interesting topic. If AMD is one of the main competitors of NVIDIA, take a look what it says. It says that the chances of for NVIDIA to go to bankrupt are 1% compared with 18% of AMD. And the reason for this is actually the super low leverage that you're gonna see in a minute in terms of numbers. Also, take a close look on the chart here, and you will see that actually one of the things is a mega cap valuations look more reasonable when adjusting for the future growth expectations. Price to earnings compared with earnings growth. And you can see that actually the ratio on most of the companies in Wall Street are higher than that. So if we are talking about overvaluated companies, we should also consider those numbers. Cisco, the comparison that followers and lovers of NVIDIA doesn't want to take a look and doesn't want to see it, is this. And that's why I also mentioned this quote here to just remind you the quote, which is the life cycle of technology companies is often shorter than other companies. And as you can see, they are comparing the evolution of NVIDIA since the origin to Cisco systems. If that's true, it means like we can even see a super bullish cycle for NVIDIA and then a collapse. And it's true that they look super similar. You got another comparison here from Financial Times, where you can see Cisco systems and NVIDIA moving one parallel to another. Obviously, it goes certain similarity, but there is, there is nothing to clearly say that this will happen. So it's again a speculation about what could happen, but it doesn't mean that this will happen. In terms of debt, and as a conclusion, also part of the conclusions, you probably don't see in detail this unless I set the screen completely. As you can see here, clearly the debt levels leave the company in highly solvent position, super low leverage. Take a look, for example, liabilities comparing with assets in short term and liabilities comparing with assets in long term. In both cases, the assets exceed the liabilities, and that means obviously a positive cash flow for the company. It's quite good to see. Its equity is growing ahead of its debt growth. Its assets exceed its payment obligations, both short terms and long terms. And going to the charts, which is the most important thing, this is from the last report we did for Q3. You can see that we were talking about 500 like a top, and only if we see, in that case, you can review the video from them. We mentioned that if the market was dropping, it was a good prices to buy it, $440, $450 per share, even 400. Only the case the price was dropping after results. But if the price was actually consolidating about $500 per share, it was a good opportunity to buy. In short terms, this is the chart we're sharing by that time. We were mentioned, please wait until you see that the company is getting consolidated about $500 before buy anything. The best, the most, how can I say? The most reasonable strategy probably will be just wait until the price gets consolidated by about $500 per share. And again, this is from the last report we did on NVIDIA for the Q3 earnings. Now, the current movement the price did, it was actually amazing. This is from the last report. The market was rising and reached $750 per share almost, as you can see there. And from there, it has been dropping to 680. Keep in mind, Morningstar is valuating this company in 480, which is around this area. And again, we're gonna be cautious, we're gonna be conservative in this case, and we're gonna mention exactly the same thing. I'm not gonna tell you buy NVIDIA, it's an amazing company with super low leverage. I'm gonna just mention, like we did before, take a look on the charts, see what is the support. As you can see, 600, it seems to be $600 per share. It seems to be a super strong support. It's 50% of the whole movement from the last bullish trend. Also, 500 is a massive, super strong support because it comes with many testing areas. So 500 should be also a very strong support. And you got around 0.382 Fibonacci retracement, which is around $575. You got the 200 moving average period, which is also a support area. So that support area matched with the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement, which is again one important level, one interesting level. So 600, 575 and 500 as a support level to take long position in NVIDIA. For those ones who are thinking about to buy right now, I don't think the moving average of 55 periods gonna hold the price there, and probably we will see that the price gonna get consolidated. It still is dropping before earning results to publish in the next 24 hours, which means that expectations could move the price aggressively and generate more volatility. That's all from my side. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumb up, subscribe to the channel, and also contact me through the email if you want to request any particular asset you would like to discuss or analyze deeply. Even if you want to participate in a kind of podcast discussing about the market, you are more than welcome, and you can join our podcast sessions. Okay, take care and good luck with the market. Bye bye.